Believe it or not, I had absolutely no idea what to call this. I didn't know whether to call this a TDS sufferer video, a white guilt video. This guy is just, I'm just going to say everything about this guy's video is wrong. Everything this person says in their video is historically, factually wrong. The video is called How is America Great? When? For who? Okay. It's great for everyone right now. I don't care what it was like in the past because, most of them are dead. But all right, let's get into this. This is a 9-minute video. Let's get into it.
Seeing the clip from Jeff Daniels in the newsroom about tell me what's great about America.
Okay, that was a fictional series. I see this guy has a wedding band on, so you know he's a fucking cuck.
Fundamentally, that is why we're here as a country.
How? How?
When I hear Make America Great Again, when?
We've always been great.
Let's review America. Let's look at its...
Okay, let's do it, except I actually know American history, sir. You're not going to have a good time with this one.
its greatness, shall we? We started off by genociding the Native Americans by the millions.
Nope. No, we didn't. In fact, the first things we traded to them in the 15 and 1600s was guns. It's just they didn't have the immunities we had to the diseases that we inadvertently carried. And two, the only reason we were able to conquer the land from the Native Americans was because the only thing a Cherokee hated more than a white guy was a Sioux. Oh, and by the way, most of the tribes, that's what they did when they got guns. Conquered other tribes' lands. The idea that the native tribes all lived in peace is one of the biggest bunches of bullshit that the American West has ever produced. It's the most fanciful legend of all.
Whose land was rightfully theirs. We just took it from them.
How? How was it rightfully theirs? The Cherokee took it from the Sioux. The Sioux took it back from the Cherokee. The Comanche took it from the Apache, and the Apache took it back from the Comanche. This tribe took it from this tribe, and this tribe took it back from that tribe. On it went for fucking thousands of years. Until we came along and conquered it for the final fucking time. This has been done ad nauseum throughout human history. Where's the Romans' land? Oh yeah, it's one city now.
And we didn't value their lives.
They didn't value our lives.
Then we started this country, then we took black people from Africa.
No, we didn't. We bought them. Those black people that we bought were sold into slavery by other black people, namely the Dahomey tribe, which is depicted by the movie The Woman King, which is something you and all your liberal friends were jacking off to.
Because we didn't value their lives. Then we forced them to pick our cotton and raise our kids and build our White House. And
I don't know if we did the raise our kids. As for the White House, that's highly debatable.
Do all the work that white people were too lazy to do.
No. And you're aware that slavery was not 100% all over this country. You're aware of that. In fact, that was one of the big things, one of the great concessions from places like Massachusetts they had to give the South. Because at the time, the bulk of the United States population lived in the South.
Wow, starting off really great, isn't it?
And also, don't give me this smug ass shit. If you lived in 1795 and you could afford it, you would have had slaves as well. Fuck you.
And then we come up with the Constitution in 1787.
Okay.
And we're still waiting for this greatness, right?
Well, yeah, the Confederation of States was kind of a bad idea.
So the founding fathers that were racist slave owners that owned black people like cattle.
Again, if you were one of them, you would have owned slaves too. Do not try to tell me that you were born morally superior. You weren't.
Great start, right? They designed the country to benefit 21-year-old land-owning white men, and black people were only worth 60% of a white man.
Actually, that was a compromise. The North wanted them not count. God, I can't remember. I think the South wanted them counted fully as a person. The North didn't want them counted as all because they were considered property. Finally they got to the 2/3 or whatever the fuck compromise.
And then women didn't have the right to vote, have credit, no fault divorce.
Yeah, well, guess what? No fault divorce fucks over a lot of men. Women hold the vast majority of credit card debt. And as for them voting, we really should repeal the 19th. Women make terrible decisions in leadership. They vote on feelings, not logic.
They were also treated as less than the white man.
Women are still less than. Whether you like it or not.
And we said, yay, we're great, we're American.
By the way, it's still required of every man to sign up for the draft if he would like to vote. Women have to do no such thing. I think women should have to sign up for the draft or give them the fucking right to vote. Oh, and by the way, liberal chuckles, most women would rather give up their right to vote than sign up for the draft.
And now we're free, except for everybody except the white man. And black Americans couldn't drink from the same water fountains.
That ended a long time ago. The only people that might still remember a time where Jim Crow was in effect and you had separate fucking water fountains are people in the goddamn nursing home.
On a bus, go to church.
No, they could sit on a bus. They just had to go to the back of the bus. And as for church, fucking church, black churches were a thing then, now, and forever, and black people are way more religious-y than whitey. That's why Pete Buttigieg will never be president.
And on and on and on. Slavery, Jim Crow.
Slavery ended 160 years ago. Jim Crow ended like 70 years ago. Or however long it was. But I gotta ask you, are you fine with black-only dormitories, black-only graduation ceremonies? Because it just seems Jim Crow under another fucking name.
Black Wall Street. And all the time.
And also, you could really say that the reason black people are as poor as they are today is thanks to LBJ's Great Society. But you're not going to do that, are you? Oh, no. God forbid you do that.
My demographic, we're great, we're great, we're great.
My demographic, at least, I don't know what you're saying. I've never had the we're great, we're great, we're great. My demographic just goes, okay, what shit do we need to get done? We just don't have the victim complex. Nor the white guilt complex. Oh, and by the way, your average black person that isn't a perpetual victim wants you to shut the fuck up. They don't care about your pity. Try running this line by the Hodge twins or the Officer Tatum or Anthony Bryan Logain or Black Conservative Perspective. Try that. Why don't you try them? Why don't you talk to a black conservative? Oh, you won't because you consider them brainwashed. Somehow I've brainwashed them.
Then you fast forward to 2024.
Okay.
And we finally have the opportunity to do something.
Okay.
To show that we're going to progress as a society.
Well, we already elected Obama and he sucked. Why would I elect a Indian woman to run my country? Because I don't know if you know this, Kamala Harris isn't black. She's Indian.
Not just the most qualified black woman, but the most qualified candidate in the history of our country.
Do me and you come from different realities? We're talking about the same Kamala Harris, right? The woman that got blown out before Iowa, Tulsi Gabbard nuked her fucking goddamn primary campaign from orbit.
And this country did what it always does. It fell back on the most uneducated, morally bankrupt, foolish, childish, immature plantation owner.
Well, Donald Trump was born in New York, and New York was never a slave state, so how is he a plantation owner? Second, yeah, America doesn't want a cunt leading it.
That wears diapers and orange makeup. Because that's what America wants.
Yeah, a majority of Americans. Remember, Donald Trump won every single swing state, and he won the goddamn popular vote. Cry about it. And Kamala Harris did historically bad. Remember, we have already had a black president. Barack Hussein Obama won not once, but twice, with phenomenally good margins. It wasn't close.
We have 11.1% of our population that live in poverty.
And tell them to work harder. It's never been easier to make money than it is right now.
14 million children go to school hungry every day.
That sounds like a mommy and daddy problem, not a me problem. If you care about it, make them a sandwich. But I don't.
We have over 40,000 people that sadly lose their lives to pew-pew violence.
Most of those are suicides. Of the ones that are criminal and murder and whatever, most of them are disproportionately black. Also, are you going to acknowledge the over 10 times that amount are saved? Made not a victim. Saved from being a victim. By the same pew-pews. Can you get anything right? Have you ever read anything that doesn't completely conform to your worldview?
Because we do nothing about it, because we're such a great country. Our largest employer...
Well, the problem is, my dear sir, is the second is a constitutional right, and a very important one. So no, we can't do anything about it. In fact, all gun control is illegal.
Walmart has 15,000 people that are on public assistance that you and I pay for.
Okay. And Walmart pays the wages they agree that the employee agrees to receive. If the employee wants to make more money, they can find another fucking job. It is not Walmart's responsibility to make sure the employee's needs are met. That's the employee's responsibility.
We have the most incarcerated prison systems in the entire world.
Yeah, and most of that was set up in the 90s by then President Bill Clinton, Democrat, and then Senator Joe Biden, Democrat. Most of that was set up in the 90s when the Democrats controlled everything. You want to fail some more?
Now, if you're a black man and you're running down the street like Ahmaud Arbery, you got a bunch of white U.S. citizens that think you're stealing something because you're black. And
the only thing I remember about the Ahmaud Arbery case, he may or may not have been stealing something, but the two guys were convicted and are now in prison. What more do you want?
they unalive him. If you're a convicted felon and you abuse women and you try to overturn a free and fair election through an insurrection, you get to be president.
One, Donald Trump did not call for an insurrection. Two, the only person that was shot and killed that day was a Trump supporter. Three, yeah. Yeah, also, he's not a convicted felon. He's not. If you take your head out of your liberal ass for 1 minute, you'll know everything about that was bullshit.
If you
In fact, one of you got confronted by, of all people, Tim Pool.
take a knee and stand for what's right, you're called a son of a bitch and you lose your job.
Colin Kaepernick did not lose his job because Donald Trump called him a son of a bitch. Colin Kaepernick lost his job because he sucks. And you can see this in his own numbers. He had one good season and then rapidly diminishing returns.
But if you're white and you storm the Capitol and you attack police officers on video,
You go to prison. Fuck off and fuck you.
and you admit to it in a court of law and you're found guilty by a jury of your peers, you get pardoned because
God, how miserable must this guy's life be? How miserable. I notice he's got a wedding ring on. Do you have to sit on a donut because your asshole is constantly bleeding with the amount of times your wife fucking pegs you?
we're such
How fucking miserable must this guy's life be?
a great country. There's a lot of countries that have freedom. Australia,
Nope. You can get in trouble for things you say online.
Belgium,
Nope. Same thing.
Iceland,
Fine. I don't know their local laws.
Canada.
Canada has a more restrictive immigration policy than us by a lot. Also, you can get in trouble for what you say online and in public.
Japan.
They don't have freedom of speech, and if you think that us restricting immigration is wrong, motherfucker, look at Japan's immigration policy. Also, if you're worried about, you know, you bitch and complain that America just wants to keep it nice and white. Yeah, Japan wants to keep it nice and Japanese, and they're way more vocal about it.
Lots of countries have freedom. We're $36 trillion in debt because we can't even balance a budget because we're
Yeah, because a bunch of Democrat assholes like you want a bunch of shit for a bunch of losers that can't be bothered to take care of themselves.
We're so wasteful as Americans. The story with Adriana Smith really summarizes how broken this country truly is and how little it actually values a life that doesn't look like me. She's a 30-year-old black mother,
Okay.
and she has a little son.
Okay.
When she was 9 weeks pregnant,
Okay.
she got a clot in her brain. And
Okay.
sadly, her brain is no longer functioning. It's
Okay.
awful. I don't know all the details, but she's no longer viable as...
Okay. I actually checked into this case. He is going to lie a bit. Her son wasn't actually allowed to visit her. Now, yes, she was kept alive through Georgia or whatever the fuck state's law is. I'm gonna have a question for him.
a functioning person. So the state of Georgia, because they're so pro-life, because of their heartbeat bill, they've turned her into a human
Pro-life. Pro-life. Okay, pro-life. All right.
incubator, which is morally reprehensible. It's repulsive. It's gross.
Believe it or not, this is the first point of your video that me and you actually agree. Then again, I'm pro-death.
So for the last 60 days, they've kept her alive to save that infant.
Okay, they're keeping the brain-dead mother alive so that the infant can live. Okay, I mean, I can see the logic in it. I don't agree with it, but I can see it. But, hold on. I'm gonna...
And her young son comes by and visits, and he thinks that his mom is sleeping. That is gut-wrenchingly heartbreaking. Because they want to push their agenda to populate more children in this country.
Well, the number one target of abortion is black children. So you're saying that they want to keep a black baby alive to populate white supremacy. That makes absolutely no sense. And again, abortion has killed far more black babies than gun violence ever has. But that's not his ultimate irony. That's not the ultimate irony.
But what happens after that is really what America is. They don't care if that family goes into medical debt, files bankruptcy, loses their house, from being forced to leave her daughter on a ventilator. Who knows how long?
If you file for bankruptcy, all the bills are dismissed. Your home is no longer in foreclosure.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more months. Let's just presume.
Also, if anybody has a decent job, the health insurance company is going to pick this one up.
The baby makes it somehow without any defects. America doesn't care if that kid has food, if it has a house. It doesn't care if it has health care.
You're right. America doesn't. Nor do I. Why do you? It's not your kid. It's not your problem. Now look, I am perfectly fine with abortion. But you're still gonna you're gonna ignore this. You really are. You're gonna ignore your utter hypocrisy.
It doesn't care if it's unalived in a school due to pew-pew violence. And it sure in the hell doesn't care if it has clean water and clean air. So my question for you, MAGA.
Okay, before he gets to the question for MAGA, Do you give a damn? You don't give a damn about how many babies are aborted. Okay, fine. But why do I think you're the first one to whine, bitch, cry, and complain when we put a prisoner to death? And if it was up to me, we would expand the death penalty. There'd be a lot more motherfuckers on death row. And these sentences would be carried out a lot quicker. So please explain to me why you're just fine with babies being killed in the womb, but you got a big fucking problem with the death penalty. Oh, it's the death penalty tends to fall on the right of things, and abortion falls on the left of things. That's why you'll defend that. By the way, before you cry and complain, I think right-wingers that find the death penalty just fine but are against abortion are just as hypocritical, and I call them out all the fucking time. Fuck you.
What exactly is great about this country? I'll tell you what you think is great.
Jesus Christ, this guy's white guilt could power fucking goddamn half the Bay Area.
Your whiteness. Your version
You're as white as me, motherfucker.
of white.
Oh, and by the way, every single fucking minority that I know hates it when they meet somebody like you that has a shit ton of white guilt.
America. Having 800 million American flags? No, that's not great. Having a pet bald eagle? That's not great. Worshipping a flag, praying to it, singing to it? No. See, what you don't realize because you're too ignorant is that that flag to a lot of people, to Asian Americans, to Black Americans, to women, to minorities, it's been a symbol of oppression since the inception of this country.
Then why are there a shit ton of Black Americans that fly the flag with pride, shit ton of Asian Americans, Hispanic Americans? By the way, Trump made tremendous gains, and he keeps making gains with Hispanic Americans. Actual Venezuelans, not your fucking goddamn protesting little dipshits, were cheering when Trump arrested fucking Maduro. This is why you are going to continue to lose, my friend. Is because you do not know what the American people stand for. You are in your liberal bubble. You're always going to lose. Anyway, that's where I'm going to end this one.